Hello, my name is Severin. I am a Java developer and also an amateur game developer. And on this channel I am planning to publish videos about game development in Unity. I am going to focus on things that are not covered by the official tutorials and especially on integrating assets from Unity Assets Store. I am also developing my own video game and sometimes I reveal the details of how I do this or that concept in it. This first video is devoted to dialogues in Unity. Dialog is one of the first things you can imagine after learning the basics. A dialog alone can be used to build a quest game, for example. If you search for Unity dialog inside your favorite search engine, you may find some paid assets or some complex solutions how to build a dialog system on your own. They may be good enough for you. However, personally, I made a mistake at the beginning of developing my game by choosing one pre-solution from the asset store. Then I spent time testing it. Then I adopted it for my project, and then I started hating dialogues because the process of creating a new dialog was in fact clumsy with this asset, and I will not name this asset. Sorry. In this video I am going to suggest another asset which is also free but at the same time powerful. The only problem with it is that it is not really obvious that it can be used as a dialog system. Let's have a look at it. So its name is Fungus. It has many reviews, 5 stars. The description says add colorful characters and craft gripping storylines for your game. It's free, it's ideal for teaching game development, great for making visual novels, interactive fiction. And yes, here you can find that it contains branching conversation system. If you install this asset and run the demo scenes that are inside it, you will see examples of how Fungus controls the flow of your game. However, it can be vice versa. Your game controls Fungus, when to show the dialogue, and we are going to use it. Let's see how to create the minimum viable dialogue system using this asset. So, for our project, the first prerequisite is a third-person controller scene from standard assets. If you have ever tried standard assets, you know this scene. It contains this bridge or something like that and this character. However, I have introduced two characters. One is a player character and another is a non-player character which contains simple logic. It moves to the specific point on this bridge and waits for you there. So let's see how it looks like. And basically that's it. Nothing happens. So what's the main idea of our simple dialog system? Player character is able to move around the scene and start a dialogue with a non-player character, an NPC, when it's physically near the NPC. Behind the scenes, each NPC contains a trigger collider. We will call it dialog collider. And a player character can blow an imaginary sphere that can hit the dialog collider, then extract the dialog data from it, and then show the dialog. It should happen on key pressed event. And if multiple dialog colliders are hit, then only one is chosen. So let's look at the implementation of this concept. First, let's try to create Fungus flowchart like in the typical Fungus tutorial. And in typical Fungus tutorial, the flowchart starts its execution just at the beginning of the game. So I have already prepared the flowchart. Let's quickly look what we have here inside this Fungus game object. I have a game object wizard, and it contains character script. Character script is an entity that represents character across all Fungus dialogues in all Fungus flowcharts. So it contains name of the character, it can contain portraits, description, and so on. Here we have only name Gandalf. And here we have a flowchart. You can learn Fungus by reading the manuals and by running the examples, but I will briefly describe what we have in this flowchart object. We have an integer variable attitude. It's an attitude of the NPC towards you. If it's positive, you are a friend. If it's negative, you are an enemy. And if it's 0, then it's a neutral attitude. And the flowchart contains blocks, and the flow from one block to another. So here in the first block we have a question. The NPC asks you a question, who are you? And you have three options. If you choose the option Barlock, you are an enemy and you go to this block. If you choose Frodo, Sam, you are a friend and you go to this block. And then the attitude changes and Gandalf shouts either run to other side if you are a friend, or you shall not pass if you are an enemy. And basically that's it. Let's see how it looks like in our game. Okay, we need one small change. It should execute on game started event. By default, when you create your first Fungus flowchart, then it will be pre-selected for you. Execute on event game started. Yes, here is our dialog, here is our question. Here are our options how to answer. And here is our answer. Our response, I mean. Okay. Now let's create what we want. A dialog that is triggered when you are near the NPC. So we are going to change this event to none. And this dialog won't be started at the beginning of the game, just like the first time I run it. We need an interaction axis. It's the button that is used for all our interactions. So we add a new axis. Its name is interact. Its button is F. Yes, and we don't need any alternatives. What else do we need? We need an interaction layer. What's the idea behind layer? If we are going to blow a sphere from our player character, we are not going to hit all the colliders that exist in the scene. Instead, we are interested only in one type of colliders, and for that we create an interaction layer. Interaction, yes. And we need two scripts. One is attached to our non-player character and the other is attached to our player character. let's see how I have implemented them. This is the script that is attached to the non-player character. It just contains a reference to the flowchart. Why we don't want to attach flowcharts directly? Because we want to reuse flowcharts. For example, imagine a city full of random citizens, and you can approach each citizen and start a dialogue. It will be some stupid random dialogue like what do you think about the weather, what's going on here, and the citizen will answer you some random answers, just like in role-playing games. And for this we need only one flowchart, but with this concept we can attach one flowchart to many citizens. So let's look at another script. This script is called Dialog controller, and it is attached to the player character. It does what we have just described. It blows an imaginary sphere, physics overlap sphere, with a specific radius. It can be customized from the UI. It is interested only in the specific layer, interaction layer, here it is, and it is able to collide with triggers. Query trigger interaction collide does the job. For each collider, it checks that there is a dialog interaction in it, and the dialog interactable contains a flowchart. If we found such a collider, then it's our dialog, and we are going to stop here, return. So we are not going to interact with other dialogues. And here we are going to execute block programmatically. For that we need the name of the block. But how do we know the name? We can create a block with any name. For that we are going to introduce a convention that each flow chart starts with exactly one block named start. And here it is. Yes, it starts with this block and its name is start. Also, we need to be informed when our dialog ends, because when the dialog is in process we are not interested in listening to our interaction key, and we are not going to blow the sphere again and repeat this process. We already have the dialog, and for this we introduce a simple Boolean variable, dialog in progress. When the dialog is in progress, we are not going to do everything that is described in this method. The dialog in progress can be set to false only when the dialog ends, and for that we are going to listen to the event on block end. It is executed when each block ends, but we are not interested in each block. We are interested only in the final block of the dialog, and for that we introduce another convention that each flowchart ends with exactly one block and its name is end. So here it is. When the end block finishes its execution, then the dialog ended. And basically that's it about this script. Let's try to attach those scripts to our objects. First of all, NPC. We will create a new sub-object named dialog. will contain a sphere collider. Yes, it will be the middle of the character. Let's increase the radius. And let's attach our Dialog interactable script. And we need to change the layer, because we are interacting only with interaction layer. So let's attach Dialog controller to our player character. We create another object, sub-object. And attach a script to it, Dialog controller. Dialog controller accepts the radius, let it be 1. So I think we are done. Let's try to test it. So we are approaching the non-player character and press F and nothing happens. Come on. I think we need to mark it as trigger. Check the name. And we have forgotten to attach the flowchart. Let's drag the flowchart here and run again. I press F button, and here is my dialog. The question, the answer. I press the F button again, and my first answer is remembered. I am considered as friend. Run to the other side, and if I press F far enough, then nothing happens. And if I press near the NPC, then let's again run to the other side. That's it. Hope this tutorial was helpful. Goodbye.